glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. This lesson is going to be entitled, Captain Tazaryach wants fame and money. All right. And I made a lesson like this a while back. I don't remember, maybe 2 years ago or something like that, dealing with Captain Tazaryach and the fact he just wants to be a celebrity. And a lot of you Israelites, I would say the majority of these guys that you see on these different platforms, you know, they just want to be famous. They want to be famous and they want to gain more followers to gain more money. All right. That's really their goal. And matter of fact, this dude, Marquette, which is a proud, arrogant, piece of shit, which I did a video on him too before. That's all he is. And he's not coming into the truth. He's not of the elect. He's a dude his arrogancy is up there with Esau, man. All right. And I did a video on this guy too as well. So, hey, there's nothing left for him but destruction. When all hell breaks loose and the money is not worth anything and he can't get food, he's going to know that his little status in this world means nothing. All right. So anyways, I want to play this because he did say something that was correct about these Israelites going to these different platforms. I want to play this real quick.
I want you to know that I'm holding in an awful lot of disdain, disgust, and anger. Last night's display was really all you need to understand about the Hebrew Israelites, about all of these black religious peoples. They are dishonest, they are degenerates, they are thieves. They are trying to escape actually working. I realized what was happening. 20 people waiting to join the live stream. Why? Because they wanted to speak on the topic or because they wanted to grab some attention and some clout for themselves so that they could become a YouTuber instead of a working man and get an easy dollar.
Which he's correct on that. That part he was absolutely correct. All right, because that doesn't apply to us because we don't use this ministry to gather any money. All right, we don't use this ministry to gather money. We just do the work. Okay, we just do the work. We give this knowledge out for free. Scripture says, freely receive, ye have received, freely give. But these other Israelites that are going to these different platforms, you got some of them going to Adam 22, which is a sodomite. Why would a Hebrew Israelite, supposed spiritual man, be going on a platform like that to speak with a demon like that? It's only for clout and money. And Tazaryach was there too. It was for clout and money. That's why. There's no reason why we want to sit down and talk with no weirdo like that. There's nothing to talk about. I know for sure he's not of the elect, and I know for sure the people that follow him are of his ilk. You know what I'm saying? No point in me going there. If someone's of the elect, the Lord will lead them to our channels. We don't need to go to these channels. Like the elder Apostle Har said, man. And as a matter of fact, let's go to get some scriptures, man, because, the scriptures speak about the characteristics of these false prophets, man. It speaks about the characteristics of these false prophets. Let's go to Titus 1:10. This is Titus 1:10. It says, "For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake." What's filthy lucre's sake? It's speaking about money. So they're teaching things they ought not to gain money. Right? These guys, they teach all manner of off doctrines as well. John the Baptist is fell out of the truth. go ahead and take the juice. The juice is nothing wrong with taking Esau's juice. You understand? The MOTB is not the microchip. All manner of things that are contrary to the scriptures, contrary to the truth, they teach. You know, and all these camps, one way or another, they pander to the women, which is a big way to make money, is pandering to these women. You know, it says, one of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said, the Cretians are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. Well, that's what he's saying about them. He's saying that they're liars, you know, and they're all about money, which is true. Okay, the majority of the people that go on these platforms, if not all of the people that are thirsty to go on these platforms, they're doing it to gain fame, clout, and that in turn will translate to money. There's all kind of horror stories about particular camps having their having pyramid schemes amongst the body and forcing them to buy T-shirts and all kind of things like that. That's common because they look at this truth as a money-making scheme. When they see this truth, they see dollar signs. You know, let's go to and they're going to be destroyed, exposed and destroyed. Matter of fact, I could get this too, but I want to get first. I want to get 1 Timothy. Let's get 1 Timothy 6 and verse 5, and it reads. I'll start at verse 3. It says, "If any man teach otherwise, and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing." So if he don't consent to the doctrine that we teach, is because he's full of pride, full of arrogancy. All right? That includes you Israelite groups. But doting about questions and strifes of words whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings. Okay, and that's what when you see somebody can't, I'm starting to understand more and more, you know, the Apostle Tahar, what he's saying about when you see somebody that doesn't understand this, you know, tell them to get up the street. I've been, you know, in that spirit lately, you know. I've been very much in that spirit lately, you know. Just the other day we had a couple closet Christians come up, you know, and you know, my whole thing was, as soon as I seen he couldn't get it, I said, nah, it's not for him. I told him to get up the street, man. But the demons were on them to stay. So then what we had to do, really the brother pump faked, like he called the beast. And then they scattered and scurried, man. Because if they can't get it, the elect is not going to give you all that kind of resistance to receive the truth. The elect, it's just gonna flow. It's a natural flow with the elect. It's not resistance, okay? It says he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words. Yeah, they always got to question things more and more and more. Yeah, well, okay, well, you say that we're the Israelites. Well, you say we're under the curses, but I don't see the curses persisting us now. I said, but look, we're going through this and that. He's like, yeah, but it's not. It wasn't. I mean, it hasn't been happening for hundreds of years. And if he keeps questioning, and you're just on the same topic, and he keeps questioning because he can't receive it without ultimately, how would you say, clear evidence, because he's carnal and lacks faith. He's not of the truth. Okay, he cannot receive this. It's not for him. He's rejecting the food. Like when you vomit, what you're doing is you're rejecting the food. Okay, it says, whereof cometh envying, cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds. Yes, it becomes a perverse dispute. and this destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. And he was trying to say that Christian at the camp, he was trying to justify that, oh, well, you know, riches is part of the Lord dealing with you. You get riches because that's what he wanted. All right. So all these false prophets, they think gain it represents godliness, represents the Lord dealing with you, which it doesn't. Right. Supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself. So we're supposed to, withdraw ourselves from these kind of individuals, man. These guys literally think gain is godliness, man. That's why they're all about the money. He's selling different things. This guy, Captain Tazaryach, he's selling his different vitamins or whatever the hell, beard oils or whatever the hell he has. You know? So the more of an audience he can get, the more money he can get. That's why he's not thinking about leaving ISUPK. The money's too good. Why the hell would he join GMS where he can't try to grift the body? You can't grift the body at Great Millstone, man. You know, you can't be a grifter. You know, it says verse 6, but godliness with contentment is great gain. These dudes are not content. Right? And these dudes got a lot, bro. Don't think these dudes is making some bread, man. $30,000 a month, $10,000 a month. They're making some cake, boy. That if brothers was getting that money, man, they'd be dispersing it amongst Akim. They'd wouldn't be complaining about a thing. You know? This is 1 Timothy 6 and 7. It says, and not only won't they be complaining, they wouldn't even be, their focus wouldn't be on getting money. It would be focused on teaching the ministry correctly and feeding the Akim more and more. You know? It says, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. Excuse me. So like it says, and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. That's the most important thing, having food and raiment, okay, and a shelter over your head, man. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts. Well, you seen that with the gorilla. He fell into them lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. And that's what happens, man. That's what happens. Okay, and these dudes, they're money hungry, they're fame hungry, and they're not sincere. They're not truly about pushing this ministry in this purity. You know. Let's get 2 Peter's. Scriptures clearly tell you the characteristics of these false prophets, man. This is 2 Peter's 2. Starting at verse 1, it says, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, and denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. It says, and saying that John the Baptist fell out the truth and not a man of the Lord is a heresy. The Lord, that means you're going directly against what the Lord Yahweh Shai said himself. It says, because he said John the Baptist is the greatest prophet that was born amongst women. So how the hell could he not be a man of the Lord, right? And have fallen out the truth. And the Apostle Har brought it out that even the disciples, they doubted. They said, nah, he's not the Messiah, because after he died, they didn't understand. Okay? It's like John the Baptist didn't understand why he was going to be beheaded. You know, they were thinking like the deliverance was going to happen there and then. Right? This is verse 2. It says, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. Yep. And through covetousness, well, you heard that with that demon, that proud demon Marquette, and he's going to die a grievous death. The Lord got something special for proud niggas like that, man. I'm telling you, boy. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you. Yeah, they're all about grifting the community, man. They always got something to sell. Whose judgment now of a long time. They all got these trendy sayings on the t-shirts. I ain't never been a weak Jew. We curse, but we blessed. Whatever nonsense they got to say, man. They always got some type of catchphrase on their t-shirts that they can sell. They're always thinking of new catchphrases that they can put on a t-shirt to sell. That's it. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. So they got damnation coming to them, man. But they're not teaching the truth. They're in the state of dumb dogs. They're not teaching the truth. They're not teaching the full truth. They teach some truth. They're not teaching full truth, because the MOTB is very important to bark and to warn about, man. But they're not going into that. They're more focused about their money, their pockets. And they're not willing, in a willing mindset, to deny themselves for Yahushua, as he said that the elect would do. That if you're going to follow him, he said what? To deny yourself. All right. So anyways, just a quick video I want to put out there. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect, and I'll say shalom.